Let's go live to Tarek Fatah now. He's the founder of the Muslim Canadian Congress with his take on the verdict. He joins us over the phone from Toronto. Tarek, it's Alex Mihailovich here. Good to talk to you again.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, let me ask you your take on this. I know you've been watching this very closely.
Well, I'm delighted in one way, but saddened because it's come to a conclusion for the three beautiful young women and their stepmother who will never see the light of day, but will always be remembered and will never be forgotten in Canadian history. My concern is that will this message, will this conviction be enough to send a message to many of the communities where the father or the brother rules over the sister's or daughter's virginity like a feudal lord? And will Muslim young women have the right to date or fall in love with whoever they choose? And I think this message has not yet filtered through to my community. Aqsa Pervez's trial should have woken them up, but my fear is that even today, some young girl somewhere will be beaten up because she has dared to go out on a date with someone she chooses to. And that's at the crux of the matter, but it's not being discussed.
When you look at this case and what you said, it is so true. Three beautiful young girls and their mother killed. They're saying that they're going to put a plaque there by the Rideau Canal in Kingston to commemorate what happened here. And the way I see it, and correct me if I'm wrong, these are what true martyrs are about. These women died for something that they shouldn't have died for, but that message is going to remain loud and clear.
Oh, I hope so. I had thought that when Aqsa Pervez was murdered, and the father confessed to the murder, and now the son was also convicted, that people would wake up in the mainstream community and discuss the real issue. Unfortunately, many of the feminists in society don't stand up for Muslim women. They would rather cover up the story and get into a debate as to whether it's honor killing or not. And the fact remains that many teenagers right across this country and in the Western world, where there are Muslim families or sometimes even the Sikh families who have a very strong notion of the ownership of women in their family, or what I say are the virginity guardians of society, they treat young women as possessions to be handed over to other men who will then become their husbands. And this notion has to be fought over, confronted, and destroyed. People should be told this is the 21st century, not the 12th. And until it is aggressively combated, you will have another murder in a few days, and we'll be discussing this all over again.
Tarek, is this a part of maybe societal evolution in Canada? I remember back in the 70s, if an Italian girl was falling in love with a Greek guy, there would be trouble and maybe some fisticuffs. You know, it seems that sort of is the bygone era, and now we have newer immigrants going through the same thing. Do you think that this will evolve the same way that those communities evolved, or are we talking about something that's very different?
Well, even if you look at the Italian communities, it was based on the orthodoxy and conservativeness of Southern Europe as compared to the more urban Northern European countries north of the Alps. The problem is, do we consider women to be possessions? It's a form of idea that stems from slavery, where one human being is allowed to own another human being. If you notice that there was also a race element in this story, because when Zainab, the eldest daughter, got married to a Pakistani man in Montreal, that Pakistani was addressed by the defense lawyers as a Paki, a four-letter word equivalent to the N-word, and it was used in the family because the Pakistanis are apparently a darker-skinned people than the Afghans, so the daughter was reprimanded for having lowered the status of the family by getting married to someone as low as a Pakistani. So it's complicated by race, it's complicated by issues of sexuality, but above all, it is tolerated because the left liberal side of our society has failed to stand up and say to people that if you are going to be part of Canadian society, you will have to stamp out vigorously any notion that men and women are not equal, and also that a daughter is not the possession of a father. And if she wishes to go out and date a young man, it is one of the most beautiful sights to see teenagers holding hands. There's nothing to get upset or consider this to be satanic. And this is the idea that is brought into Canada, that if you go out and go on a prom date, you will be killed. It's not that everyone's doing it. The fact is that enough people doing it for it to lead to such a heinous murder.
Unbelievable. Tarek Fatah, thank you so much for joining us today. Your commentary is as illuminating as ever.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.